What's going on, everybody? This is Brian from SneakerFiles.com, recapping the news, and before I jump into things, like always, greatly appreciate a thumbs up, and if you're new here, subscribe by hitting the button below. Now, this is a pretty big video because we have a ton of news from Jordan Brand, a ton of release date changes, stuff is shifting left and right. As well, we do have several first looks. Now, outside of Jordan Brand, we do have a little bit from Nike, not too much. So the majority of this video will be from Jordan Brand. But it's a good video to keep you in the loop since a bunch of shoes, the release dates have changed. And now, let's jump into the news. Okay, so we have a new release date for the Nike LeBron 21 Prime 93 in Fire Red. Now, initially they were supposed to drop this month, specifically on May 9th. However, they have been delayed until July 17th, and I have no idea why. I know a lot of retailers already have these in. Matter of fact, if you saw my Air Jordan 1 High OG UNC Reimagined review, I did an unboxing of this pair, and I just got finished recording a short. I do plan on dropping that short this week, even though they're now going to drop on July 17th, so quite a bit away. Also, the Protro 92 has been delayed until June. I believe they were supposed to drop on May 10th, and I just picked those up. Those are incredible in hand. The packaging is really dope. I'm going to do a short on those probably next week. But just on the packaging on those, Nike went above and beyond, in my opinion. But for this pair, they're going to now drop on July 17th, and the retail price will be $180. Once again, the Nike Air Max 95 OG Neon will be released, but unfortunately, it won't be until 2026. Now, initially, these dropped on March 4th, I believe, and then they were supposed to debut on the Sneakers app on March 18th. That was what was said in the email that I received from Nike. Obviously, Nike didn't email it to me, but somebody in the know sent me the email and I saw it. So I'm not sure what happened. I do know there was a couple retailers that dropped this pair on the 18th, and I'm not sure if they just decided to hold off or what, but they're going to drop once again, but like I mentioned, I believe I mentioned, in 2026. So for now, we have a potential release date, and I say potential because anything can change from now until then, but March 5th is what we're looking at for now. Yes, they will have the big bubble. They'll be just like the pair that recently dropped. It just will be available at more retailers from my understanding. I don't know what resale is on these, but if you can hold off for a little less than a year, then cool. If not, I don't blame you because that's some time from now. But March 5th is the release date for the re-release, and the retail price will be $185. So I recorded this whole video, and then I'm getting ready to edit it at 4 in the morning. Yes, I know it's late. And then I got some exclusive news. Not just this, but some more in this video. So I wanted to make sure I included it, so I went back to my office and started recording. But the first piece of exclusive news of this video, Central C will once again collaborate with Nike, and it'll be on the Air Force 1 Low. He's not just doing one pair, but 3 pairs in total. Now, 2 of them will be released to the public, but the third pair will be a friends and family exclusive. So currently I don't have images of any of these, so I'm just going to throw up a placeholder image. I'm not sure how they're going to look. And the more available pair will come dressed in black, white, and smoke gray. Now the second pair will be on the limited side, only released in the UK, and this pair will feature a dark beetroot, metallic gold, red oxide, and flat gold colorway. Now the third pair, which is the friends and family exclusive, is dressed in black, optic yellow, and racer blue. That one sounds the most interesting to me, and unfortunately it's a friends and family exclusive. Now as for the other 2 that will be released to the public, those will drop spring 2026, and that means the release will take place between January and March. And currently I don't have a retail price, but I should have more information coming soon. Part 2 of the exclusive news of this video, who remembers the Nike Kobe 8 Year of the Horse? Now this pair initially dropped back in 2014, and in spring 2026, the pair will return. So the shoes celebrate the Chinese zodiac sign, and they feature a light crimson, bright citron, and vivid blue colorway. Now, as you can see, this pair features engineered mesh on the upper, done in red. It also has a unique graphic throughout. In addition, we have yellow on the swoosh logos, laces, and Kobe Bryant's signature on the heel counter. Next, vivid blue covers the liner, speckled across the laces, and covers the translucent outsole. Lastly, we have a horse emblem on the inside of the tongue. Now, as for a specific release date, unfortunately, I don't have one, but spring 2026 is when they're expected to drop, which means a release will take place between January and March, and the retail price will be $180. On January 22nd, 2006, Kobe Bryant scored 81 points against the Toronto Raptors. He was wearing the Nike Kobe Zoom 1, which was dressed in white, black, and purple, Lakers colors of course, and eventually those would be known as the 81-point game or 81 points. And in spring 2026, the Nike Kobe 1 Protro 81 points will return. This is more exclusive news for you guys that I just found out about. This is what made me record super late. It's 4:30 right now. I wanted to make sure this was added in the video. And Nike Basketball will celebrate the 20th anniversary of the game by bringing the shoes back. So as some of you may know, the Kobe 1 was initially dropped in 2006. And to celebrate the 1-year anniversary of the game, they launched a very exclusive pair of the 81 points in 2007. This was part of the Y81 contest by Nike Basketball, and what Nike did was they held a 4-hour scavenger hunt with 80 participants able to purchase the shoe. Now the 81st pair was signed by Kobe and auctioned off. Now that was only in the LA area. We would first see a global launch take place in 2019, and the shoes were released in Protro form. So I can confirm these will be released again in spring 2026, which means a release will take place between January and March. I'm going to go ahead and guess that it probably is going to take place on January 22nd. I believe that was the date when the 2019 pair dropped, as well that was the date when Kobe Bryant scored 81 points. So that would make sense. Unfortunately, at the time of recording, I don't have a retail price, but I'll make sure to update you guys once I find that out. As some of you may know, I released a video on Monday, and this information was not included in that video, although I dropped this information a bit after my video went live, and unfortunately I got the information a little bit too late to include in the video, but a lot of people saw this. I received some comments on the previous video asking about it, and yes, it is true, I did break this news on the website and various social media platforms, but Nardwuar will have his own Nike SB Dunk Low during the holiday 2025 season. Now, you guys might have seen a couple different mock-ups going around, and what I will say is that the mock-up shown here is what I was told that they'll look very close to. Now, before I get into what this shoe will feature, I'm sure a lot of you already know who Nardwuar is. Basically, he's a journalist. He interviews various celebrities, artists, and he does really good research. When he interviews people, he brings out information that usually the interviewee is like surprised that he knows. His interviews also have sparked memes. For example, the one with Future.
Sensational.
He's had some pretty crazy interviews with Tyler, the Creator. I've actually enjoyed those. And back in the day, I used to watch him a lot. So for him to get his own collab, this is really dope in my opinion. He seems like a super humble guy, and his interviews are really energetic. Now, as for what we can expect on this shoe, at least from the sample that I was told, the upper is inspired by the hat that he wears. So you can see it in the background of this image. There'll probably be a little bit more blues worked in on the upper, but it's not going to be a vibrant blue. It's going to be more of like a closer to a darker shade of blue. I was also told that they'll have a black swoosh, a black midsole, and a rubber outsole. Now, I don't know if we'll actually have Nardwuar branding, but what I was told is that the insoles will have his catchphrase, which I'm not going to say it, but I'll throw in a clip of him saying it.
Do-do-do-do-do.
So yeah, I don't think I can do it justice like he can, so that's why I threw in a clip of him saying it here. In my opinion, these have a lot of potential. Now, things could change, but from my sources who saw a sample pair of this shoe, this is something that we can expect to receive during the holiday 2025 season. So a release will take place between October and December, and the retail price is expected to be $135. Let me know your thoughts on this collaboration down in the comment section below. Unfortunately, we don't have much news from Nike, but it was some dope stuff. Now, Jordan Brand, there's going to be a ton. As I mentioned early on, a lot of release date changes. We do have first looks as well. And since there's a short turnaround time because on Monday I dropped a video and now I'm recording Tuesday night, not a ton of stuff racked up as far as news go, except for Jordan Brand because there's quite a bit. Now, first up, we're going to talk about the Air Jordan 3 Seoul 2.0. Now, the reason why I'm talking about it again, one, we've received some additional photos, but two, we have two different release dates. So the first release date is for May 10th, and this will be for Casina. Technically, it's for May 10th and 11th, because in South Korea, there's going to be a pop-up in collaboration with Casina known as New Dreams. I believe this pair is also being called New Dreams as well, instead of the Seoul 2.0, but most of us know it as the Seoul 2.0. Now, as for a wider release that will be available, well, expected to be available on the Sneakers app and at select boutiques, will take place on May 17th. Now, at the time of recording, they haven't popped up on the Sneakers app just yet, but that should take place soon, and the retail price will be $200. If you watched my May 2025 release dates video, then you heard me mention that I believed that the Maniere Air Jordan 5 Violet Ore would be delayed, or it would be the Seoul 2.0. But I was more thinking it would be the Maniere pair just because I know a lot of boutiques didn't have this shoe in just yet, although there are some, and it turns out that is the case. So, as most of us know it as Violet Ore, this pair is actually being called Juneteenth. I'm sure a lot of you know what Juneteenth already is. It's officially known as Juneteenth National Independence Day, and it's celebrated on June 19th, which is the day in 1965 when slavery came to an end in the United States. Now, Maniere hasn't rolled out all the details about this shoe just yet, and initially they were supposed to drop on May 14th, but now the new release date is June 7th, so they'll be available just in time for you to pick them up, and if you order them online, they get shipped. Hopefully, if Maniere doesn't take a long time to ship them out, you'll have them for the day. Also, the retail price will be $225. We now have a first look at the Swarovski Air Jordan 1 Low OG being called Crystal. Now, as most of you may remember, you may not, I put out a mock-up quite a bit ago of this shoe. Now, I didn't know what it was going to look like, and the colorway on this is Stealth. So I thought it would come in like a gray hue. However, that isn't going to be the case. As you can see, the shoes actually feature the shadow color blocking. Now, I'm sure all of us know the Air Jordan 1 Shadow. It's an OG colorway, it's a classic. And basically, we have that shoe, but in low top form, and they're covered in crystals. The panels feature crystals, the toe, around the heel, the tongue. Almost everywhere on this pair is done in crystals. And that is the reason why the retail price is so high on these. Now, the color blocking, of course, resembles that of the Shadow Air Jordan 1. We have white on the midsole. I'm actually surprised they didn't use cell or something because Jordan Brand has been loving cell as of late. They feature the Air Jordan Wings logo on the heel, which is done in metal. The insoles feature the Air Jordan Wings logo as well. And then the shoes feature a black rubber outsole. Now, they also come with a crystal basketball hang tag, care instructions, and special packaging. For those who don't know, this is also a women's exclusive release. And initially they were supposed to drop on May 15th. However, I have heard that there's two different release dates going around, but again, it's not confirmed. One for May 17th and one for May 21st. Again, none of those are confirmed at the time of recording, but it's just what I've heard. And the retail price will be $1,000. So yeah, they're going to cost quite a bit of money. Definitely not my style. I could appreciate them. They're pretty dope, but it's not something I'm looking forward to picking up. Also, once I have the confirmed release date, I'll make sure to let you guys know. Throughout this video, we're going to have first looks and new release dates Here we have a new release date for the Air Jordan 1 Low OG Voodoo Alternate. Now this is in collaboration with Zion Williamson. Now this pair features a Regency Purple, Vapor Green, Black, Dark Raisin, Daybreak, and Light Silver colorway. As some of you may remember, back in 2022, Zion dropped the Voodoo Air Jordan 1 Low OG. Ton of hype for that shoe. A lot of people liked them. And this pair was initially made exclusively for Zion Williamson. So they were known as Voodoo Alternate. Some images did pop up and a lot of people liked them, including myself. I like these better than the first one. That's just my opinion, of course. Now, the images used is the original sample. This isn't the 2025 pair. However, I did see them and they're just like this. I didn't see any difference whatsoever. So you can expect this to be released. Now, as for the new release date, initially this pair was going to drop on November 19th, but now they have been moved forward and they're going to drop on October 29th. Unfortunately, we don't have a retail price. They're probably going to retail at $150 or $160. Nigel Sylvester's next collaboration will be on the Air Jordan 1 Low OG, known as Nitro. Now, initially, when I put this information out in collaboration with Z Sneakerhead Z, we didn't have a release date, but now that has changed. But before I get to that, the image used is a mock-up. However, I was told that you can expect something very similar to this to be released. Basically, what we have here is a low-top version of the sample pair that he had back in 2022. Basically, that shoe is the Nigel Sylvester Air Jordan 1 High OG in Cell, which dropped back in 2018, but it was covered in black. Now, the official colorway on these is black, muslin, and varsity red, so you can expect an aged midsole, some scuff-like marks as well, and a mini swoosh by the toe. Now, the release date is August 2nd, and the retail price will be $150. Another release date change, and this time it's for the Air Jordan 1 Low OG Chicago. Now, unfortunately, this one has been delayed instead of pushed forward. Now, before I get to the new release date, as many of you know, this shoe is returning with a larger swoosh. I'm sure a lot of you will be happy about that. Now, the images used is the 2016 release. I do know images are going around of what is being said as a first look, but I'm not going to feature those. Those are fake. We already know the deal, where they come from. None of the websites really care, nor the IG pages, but you're not going to see me post his photos. And you might have noticed that there's a few other people who typically shares these type of photos. They won't as well because they know what they are. Now, this pair last dropped in 2016. Definitely a classic colorway, but in low top form. This is an OG colorway, but the Air Jordan 1 Low OG Chicago is actually not an OG release. But I don't think people mind that because, again, this is just a classic. Now, as for the release details, initially this pair was supposed to drop on October 18th, which is known as Band Day. However, they have been delayed until November 15th. Now, a lot of these shoes, the release dates are moving around. For this pair, I believe it's being delayed because the potential re-release of the Air Jordan 1 High 85 Bread. There is expected to be some changes on that, but the rumor is that shoe will drop on Band Day, which is October 18th. Also, the retail price on this one will be $140. Sometime back, I broke the news that Chase B would be collaborating with Travis Scott and Jordan Brand on the Jordan Jumpman Jack TR. A mock-up was done, however, this is not an accurate mock-up of what's releasing. I have no idea what these are going to look like, to be honest. It was just put together based on the colorway, which is black, night silver, anthracite, illusion green, and coral chalk. Now, initially when I put out the information, I didn't have a release date. I just knew that they were going to drop during the holiday 2025 season, but we now have a release date. But before I get to that, for those who don't know, Chase B is signed to Travis Scott's Cactus Jack Records. He's a DJ and a record producer. Worked with a lot of people. He makes some really good songs. I'm not going to lie. I didn't know who he was until I heard about this collab, and then I did some research. I listened to some of his music. And even today, I'm still playing it. I just played one of his songs earlier today. Now, as for the release date for this pair, they are currently scheduled to drop on October 8th. And the retail price will be $200. We have a couple more Maniere collaborations to go over in this video, and the next one is the Maniere Air Jordan 4 Dark Mocha. Now, what is shown is a mock-up. I have no idea what these are going to look like, but the pair will feature a dark mocha, bronze eclipse, black and violet ore colorway. So the reason why I'm talking about them now is prior to this, all we knew is that these were going to drop during the holiday 2025 season, but we have a release date. So we have some time before these are going to drop, and the current release date is scheduled for December 12th. Also, the retail price will be $225. Now, this date is around the same time that Maniere is dropping another Air Jordan collab. I believe the other one will be a little bit before this, which I am going to talk about later on in the video. As most of you know, Infinite Archives will debut 2 colorways of the Air Jordan 17 Low. Now, recently we saw a preview of a pair that features a Chicago-like color blocking, but prior to that, we saw a pair highlighted in purple. That pair resembles a PE that was once worn by Mike Bibby. Something like it. It's not 100% on point, of course, but we have a release date for the purple pair, also known as Metallic Silver. That shoe features a beach, metallic silver, and black colorway. The other shoe, which is highlighted in red, comes in beach, metallic copper, and black. So the difference between the two, obviously purple and red, and then we have either metallic copper or metallic silver. So the release date for the purple pair is set for October 17th. Now, as for the red pair, we don't have a release date for them just yet, nor do we have a style code. I'm not entirely sure how they're going to be released. One might be more limited than the other. And the retail price is said to be $300, although I still think it could be higher than that. I hope not. $300 is already high enough. Unless they don't come with a briefcase, which isn't confirmed if they're going to be. But it would be dope if we got a collab plus the briefcase for $300. Either way, once there's more information, I definitely will make sure to update you. Maniere has a ton of sneakers dropping in 2025. Quite a bit. Typically, when people collab, we don't get this many drops, but we have 2 Air Jordan 6 colorways dropping during the holiday 2025 season. Now, these 2 colorways are known as Seoul and Smokey Mauve, and we have a release date for the Smokey Mauve pair. So that's the pair that's going to be shown. And this is a mock-up. We don't know how it's actually going to look, nor do we know what the other colorway is going to look. But the Seoul pair will feature a Seoul, black, smoky mauve, and cool blue colorway. And the pair shown here, known as Smoky Mauve, comes dressed in a smoky mauve, black, diffused taupe, and cameo rose colorway. So again, not sure what these are going to look like, but as for the release date, they're scheduled to drop on December 5th. And currently, we don't have a retail price. Not only do we have new photos of the Awake NY Air Jordan 5 Arctic Pink, but we have a new release date. Now, as most of you know, this is one of 2 colorways dropping. The second one we just received a first look of, and I'm going to talk about that next. But this pair comes dressed in a Arctic Pink, metallic silver, university red, black, white, and clear colorway. Now, these are really unique. Both pairs are. As you can see, Arctic Pink is used across the upper. We have Nike Air branding on the heels, while the number 23 lands on the left shoe, and then on the right, it comes with NY branding. Now, the pink mesh netting on this pair has the Awake A logo intertwined and is translucent, something I think is really dope. It's unique, something a bit different. And then we have black on the liner and the speckled flames on the midsole and a translucent rubber outsole. Also, what's really dope about this pair is the silver tongues. It has Awake across the Jumpman logo, and Awake and the Jumpman logo is also placed on the translucent rubber outsole. The shoes will also come with an orange Nike hang tag with Awake NY branding. Now, as for the release date, initially I believe these were supposed to drop on August 30th, but now they're going to be released on August 16th. Also, there's 2 retail prices going around, one for $225, the other for $210. I hope it's $210. I would prefer that, but I'm going to have to wait to confirm that. Once I get the confirmation, then I'll let you guys know. We finally have a first look at the Awake NY Air Jordan 5 Racer Blue. This pair has also had a release date change, but man, these are really nice. Now, this isn't our best look yet, of course, but it's a first look. It tells us what's to come, and knowing what the Arctic Pink pair looks like, we can expect some of the same things. Now, the official colorway on these is black, racer blue, metallic silver, silver, white, and clear. This pair features black tumbled leather on the upper. We also have Awake's A logo intertwined on the mesh panels. We have black on the backdrop of the mesh, and then the Awake A is just translucent. We have the number 23 embroidered on the left shoe. I'm going to assume the right will have NY embroidered. Nike Air will land on the heels. Awake NY branding covers the Jumpman on the tongue. The backdrop will be silver. And then they'll feature a translucent outsole. I'm sure with Awake NY branding as well. I'm sure this pair is going to feature the orange hang tag. We just don't have images of that yet. Now, initially, these were supposed to drop on September 19th, but they've actually been pushed forward. So the release date for this pair is August 30th. I do find it a bit interesting that they're dropping 2 collaborations within the same month. Different days, of course, because typically when collabs drop, it's usually on the same day if there's more than one. But yes, August 30th is the potential release date because it could change. And again, I'm hearing 2 retail prices, $225 or $210. I hope it's $210, but again, not confirmed. Now, let me ask you guys, which pair do you like better, the pink or the racer blue? This is hard for me. I'm kind of leaning towards the blue pair. I really like them, but I really like the pink as well. We have a first look at the Air Jordan 10 still, and I'm going to be honest, this isn't a really good look at all, but the images are being shared, so I wanted to talk about it, and it's been some time since I've talked about the shoes. And the reason why the images aren't that great, there's only 2. The second image that I'm going to showcase is the original photo. The first one is cropped and zoomed in, and this comes from Nike's server, so that's how we received these photos. But unfortunately with this pair, because I know a lot of people aren't happy about it, they will feature the toe cap. You really can't tell in this photo. At least I can't. Maybe you guys have better eyes than me. But overall, with this one image or 2 images, the shape does look decent. I'm not going to really give my full judgment on it. The color blocking, of course, appears to be on point. There's really not much we can talk about these images just because they're not that great. But as you know, this pair is an OG colorway. They first dropped in 1994. MJ was retired from basketball while these dropped. He was playing baseball, but he would eventually return to basketball. Now we would see a retro take place in 2005. And then the last time we saw this pair drop was in 2013. Now the whole toe cap situation is a bit of an interesting story. So Michael Jordan was away playing baseball. It was rumored that he missed meetings with Tinker Hatfield, who was designing the Air Jordan 10. Back in the day, Michael Jordan had a lot of input on the latest Air Jordans, how they looked, things he liked, things he didn't like. But since he missed out on these meetings, he didn't have the chance to approve or disapprove anything. He eventually saw the shoe and he wasn't happy with the toe. He didn't like how it looked. But by this time, it was too late. Nike had already finished the first production run of the Still 10s, and they would be released to the public. But Tinker, of course, made some adjustments. Nike would recall the shoes and release the Still 10s with like a cleaner toe cap. So that is the story with that. I get where they're going with the history here, but like I said before, if MJ wasn't a fan, most of us aren't a fan, then why bring it back? I don't know. But for those who do like it, I'm glad you do because you're getting something you want. And as for the release date, they're going to drop on August 2nd, and the retail price will be $210. I know most of you already know this. We have another OG colorway of the Air Jordan 10 returning, and it's going to be the Shadow pair. Now, the reason why I'm talking about them in this video is because we received a new release date. But before I get to that, just a reminder, these will not have the toe cap. These will actually feature the OG clean toe box that we all like. Initially, they were expected to. Turns out that won't be the case, and I'm happy about it. Now, the images used is the OG pair. This is not the 2025 retro. And this pair is an OG colorway, first dropped in 1994. And then the second time they dropped was in 2008. But this time it was a bit different. It was part of the Countdown Pack series and came with the Air Jordan 13. The 2 shoes equaled the number 23, and at that time, Jordan Brand was celebrating the release of the Air Jordan 23. Now this pair was different in comparison to the OG. It featured the number 23 stitched, and it had a lighter checkered pattern on the liner. The last time we saw this shoe drop was in 2018. Now the official colorway on the 2025 release will be charred gray, true red, and black. And as for the release date, initially they were supposed to drop on October 29th. However, the new date is November 19th. Also, the retail price will be $210. I'm actually really excited these are returning, and it's perfect timing. This is a great fall and winter shoe. I plan on picking this one up. I think I'm a bit more excited about the Shadow 10s in comparison to the Steel, but don't get me wrong, I like both. And let me know your thoughts down below. Just like the Air Jordan 10, we have two OG colorways of the Air Jordan 8 returning this year. Now, a lot of people have been waiting for the Aqua Air Jordan 8, which will also return, but for the holiday season, we have the Air Jordan 8 Bugs Bunny dropping again. Now, for this video, the reason why I'm talking about them is because we have a release date change. Again, this pair was pushed back. Now, the images used is the 2013 release, not the 2025. And before I get to the new release date, this is also an OG colorway that was first released in 1993. It was worn by MJ on the court. There's a couple reasons why they're called Bugs Bunny. One of them comes from the fact that the Looney Tunes character, Bugs Bunny, was wearing the shoes in the commercials, as well as Marvin the Martian. But the cross straps on this pair resembles bunny ears. Now, the first time we would see a retro release was in 2003, and the last time they dropped was in 2013. So they definitely had a pattern. Every 10 years they were dropping a new pair, but now it's going to be 12 years. Now, for the official colorway, it will be white, black, and true red. And initially, these were supposed to drop on November 15th. However, the new release date is December 20th. The retail price will be $210. Also, these are expected to drop in full family sizing, although I can't 100% confirm it at the time of recording. And that's going to do it for this video. Like always, greatly appreciate you guys for watching. If you have a second and haven't done so already, also appreciate a thumbs up. And if you're new here, subscribe by hitting the button below. One more thing, if you haven't done so yet, make sure to turn on the notification bell so you can be alerted every time I drop a new video. If you missed it, yesterday I dropped a short on the Nike Air DT Max 96 Love Letter to Connie. There will be a link in the description below if you want to check that out. Now, as for upcoming videos this week, I don't think I'm going to do another news video unless there's more news. Typically I try to do 2 a week, but if I could do more, I will. But for sure, I'm going to drop a review on the Air Jordan 12 Mellow. I just picked those up, and I'm either going to drop that Friday or Saturday. I'm not too sure just yet. But for this video, let me know what you liked or disliked down below. As well, if you have any questions, make sure to leave those down below. Again, thanks for watching. Stay tuned to SneakerFiles.com, and if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe.